In today's video, I'm going to be showing you guys how to actually make a working TV in Minecraft. Now, before we get into this, I actually wanted to say that this is heavily based on Mumbo Jumbo's design. So go check his video up on screen right now if you haven't already, even though I think most of you actually will. Now, I'm making a design based off of that because he actually uses the portal mod and an extender to the push limit for pistons. And I wanted to see if I can actually recreate this in vanilla Minecraft to help you guys build your own TV in Minecraft. Also, before we get into this, please remember to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Only 5% of you guys are actually subscribed, and I would really appreciate it if you subscribed. Follow me on Instagram and TikTok, and let's get into it. Now, starting off, here is my design. Now, I got a little seat just so that you don't have to be standing or constantly crouching to actually play the game. The remote is right over here, easily accessible, and when you turn it on, it actually starts playing. Now, there are some differences as the magma blocks are on the floor, and when you jump, it's actually powered by a glass block instead of a slime block. But otherwise, it's pretty much the same game. And of course, if you actually touch a magma block, you will die. Now, this is going a little bit slower, just because this is kind of like a test, or just for people that don't really know how to play this game and want an easier version of it. You can easily speed this up with the repeater timings. And as you can see, your character just respawns after dying. Now, even if you walk up to this machine, you actually won't see much redstone. So I made a tiny room just so that if you even walk around the TV, it still looks like you're playing the game, just a little bit different. So let me go into this just to show you guys what's happening here. Now, as you can see, Mumbo Jumbo's design actually kind of looked something like this. He had a bigger screen just because he was able to extend the push limit of these pistons. Now, normally these pistons wouldn't be able to push this much blocks, but with his extender, he could actually push it. So that is why I actually made a smaller version of it over here, and you would have to move it closer to the screen. But of course, you can actually make it bigger as long as you don't want it to move, because this is the maximum width that you can actually push with a piston, which is actually 12 blocks. But I'll get into how to make this at the end of the video, so skip ahead if you want to now. But first, I'm going to be talking about some showcases, some things that you can actually do with this, and some possible other games that you can make with this. So first, how did I actually solve the problem of Mumbo Jumbo's design in vanilla Minecraft? Now, the problem with his is that he actually uses a portal mod to make it so that you actually can't see the whole machine or the back of it in. Now, the solution I basically used is making it smaller. As you can see, the whole design is just a lot smaller than what he actually did. Now, this whole design is actually 12 blocks wide, but it is still a really big scenery if you actually put it closer to the actual screen. Accounting for the portal mod, this design is actually much smaller and is way closer to the whole screen than if you were to build something big like this. Now, this helps because you can actually make a wall and like a room around this whole machine fairly easily, and you could compact the redstone a lot more than what I did here. Some other changes I did to his design on this one is actually adding the black screen when it actually all turns off. As you can see, if I actually turn off this machine by pulling the lever, a black screen will appear and the game will stop running. Now, I find this really cool because it acts like a real television actually when you turn it off and you're not playing the game anymore. And this design will actually not break because it's just a repeating system. And adding this, I just used a couple double piston extenders to push these blocks down without interfering with the game stream. But obviously that's more redstone than needed and you don't really need to do that. Another design that I've made is actually a change of scenery and character, which is actually just a zombie in the nighttime. Now, it's basically just the same game with a different scenery, and you can make whatever scenery you want in your game. It can be completely customizable with your character or any background that you want. Now, with this one, I actually did not add an enclosed space so that you could actually see the redstone going on here. As you can see, we have a character right over here. Whenever you push the button that actually controls the game, you actually push up this glass block, which pushes him up. But if you actually fail to do that, he'll actually get pushed by this magma block into the water elevator. The water elevator will actually take him up and push him along all the way back onto this block, pushing him into this exact position so that he actually gets taken by the magma block again if you fail again. And then the background is basically the same thing but a simpler design. And the grass and stuff can be changed out for anything. Over here, for the jump button, I used a pulse extender to make his jump fit in with the timing of this. But obviously you can change the pulse extender to be how long you want, or have no pulse extender as long as this can actually with your jumping. Over here, this system actually powers the whole machine. These two observers will actually send different signals depending on this redstone repeater. As you can see, this has 4 and this has 3. The number 3 one actually controls this side, and number 4 actually controls the other side. Now this is important because you want these two things to actually have the opposite timing of each other, just so that this can actually be pushed across. Otherwise, nothing would move. And then I actually use the same system that I used over here to actually match up with these. As you can see, these actually push at close to the same rate because it's using the same signal. But these basically push the same way, but up and down. As you can see, it just pushes all the way across just like so. Now obviously you can use any type of block that you actually want instead of magma, just something that's not immovable. And I use obsidian right here just to prevent these from accidentally pushing a little bit too fast, which may happen occasionally, but this helps proof the whole machine so it doesn't accidentally break. Now if you're on Java Edition, you can actually use stuff like furnaces or dispensers, immovable blocks like that, but on Bedrock you probably want to use obsidian. And that is basically the whole machine. This one does not actually have the closing mechanism. And this next design actually has 2 changes to it. Now if I actually walk closer to this machine, as you can see, instead of having the whole background be the end, I actually just made a black box. And I made it black as if you were trying to look around in a 2D game, which this is basically supposed to be. Now it's your choice whichever looks better, but personally I think both are really good. This machine actually, when it turns off the lights in the room. As you can see, it's kinda like the black screen, but this takes less work, and it still looks good for an off screen. And this is simply done by turning on 3 lights in the back. As you can see, this is just connected through the actual lever and is easily done. And lastly, an entirely new game. As you can see, this is just basically an entirely new game based on the same concepts. If I turn this on, as you can see, it moves a lot faster than the other ones. This is because I changed the repeater settings to make it a lot faster to make this game actually function as a better game. Now as you can see, if I press this button when the target is above, I actually hit it, hear a note block, and the light turns on, which means I basically got the target. Now if you actually shoot this and miss, it has a cooldown where it won't shoot again after a certain amount of time. Now this is really good to stop players from actually spamming the button to actually hit the target. But if you wait a little, as you can see, it doesn't have a cooldown anymore. And that is resembled by the note block being on screen or not. As you can see, if I wait, it will actually stop appearing. But this game is really fun and enjoyable to play, and can be cool if you actually don't want the normal run and jump game. Now this bases off of the other game where it's basically something moving around, but this time you're actually trying to time it, so when you actually target this dispenser, it will actually shoot the target and light up the lamp. You can actually make a lot of types of games using the only one button system, which I think is really cool, and I encourage you guys to actually try to build one on your own. And this is actually really easy to build in survival mode as it doesn't require much complex things. So I won't be actually showcasing how to build this one, but let's get on to how to actually build the other ones. So starting off, make sure you have this much space, a 17 away from the screen space, just like so, at least 15 wide from the screen, just like so, and 21 from the screen. As you can see, it should be facing the screen at that much length. Now this does not account for the lever and the button, but those are easily placeable underneath your room. And for the height, make sure you want 6 blocks above the glass and 8 blocks below. Now once you have your space and your TV laid out, you're gonna actually want to start building. Now first what you want to do is actually get your lever and button placed down. So I'm gonna just place that there and the button there. Now make sure the button is wooden and the lever can just be a lever. So now once you have that, dig below your lever just like so, make a little line, and make it run into a sticky piston. Now once you have that sticky piston there, you're gonna want to make an observer clock just like this, where both of the redstone output lines are just like so. Now once you have that, pull the lever just so that they're not on constantly. Now once you have that, what you're going to want to do is place a block below each side. Now you're going to want to put a repeater, this one doing 3 and this one doing 4. Now you can just put a redstone output to each one. So now once you have done that, you're going to actually want to build 12 blocks from your piece of glass. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Now this will actually be your wall. Now your floor should actually be 1 down and 1 to the front. As you can see, this should be your floor. So from your middle, your floor should be 6 this way, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And it should be 3 this way, 1, 2, 3. And then you should fill this in. And then what you're going to want to do is actually just keep on filling this in, just like so. And then make a little circle right over here. Now once you've done that, you fill these parts in as well, and now you got your floor. Now once you have done that, you just add your wall. Now your wall should be obviously behind your floor should be like this, and then you just add a wall. Now obviously vary up the design in your wall. I'm gonna just do a basic thing where I just put 2 basic blocks, but just don't actually make it one plain block or you actually won't see the movements and there will be no point in adding these piston movements. Now what you're actually going to want to do is add in your pistons. Over here, you're going to want to add in your pistons just like so. And then you're going to add another line right over here, pushing them forward. As you can see, something like this on this side. And over here, what you're going to want to do is add a line like this, pushing it backwards. And then another line right over here, pushing it inwards. Just like so. Basically the opposite of this side. Now once you actually got that done, it's time to build in your back wall. Now what you're going to want to do is make this a similar theme to your front wall, but make it a little bit different. Just like so, like add in different types of variations in the blocks, just like so, and you should be good. Now just fill in fully the back wall, or you actually won't get this piston effect. Now once you have done that, add 1 more row, just like so, and only 1. So make sure that only 1 row is actually affected by that, and not the other 3 empty spots. Now what you're going to want to do is actually add your conveyor chain. As you can see, you're going to want a glass panes along the side, a magma block, and then glass panes. Now the magma block can actually be switched out for anything. It doesn't really have to be a magma block. But going down over here, make sure there's actually no spaces in between. It should just be the floor in between it. And then make sure to add magma blocks or any other block down here also, because this chain will be going to the front too. And leave a 1 empty space. Now once you have done that, you're going to want to add the pistons. So you're going to want to add 1 over here facing this way, and 1 down here pushing upwards. So make sure you've done that on this side. And then over here, you're going to want 1 facing downwards, just like so, and 1 pushing this way. As you can see, it should look something like that. So what you're going to want to do is, if you're on Java Edition, then add any movable block like a furnace, a dispenser, a dropper, anything like that. But if you're on Bedrock, you use something like obsidian or crying obsidian. Now I'm just going to use crying obsidian and put it on all 4 corners where it actually might be pushed. Now once you've done that, we're going to actually add in the water elevator. Now the water elevator should be up here. Now you're going to place 1 there, 1 there, and then you're going to want to keep on moving up with glass panes. So just keep on doing this, and what you're going to want to do is actually put glass panes on this side as well. There does not need to be a block here though. Just make sure you're putting glass panes all the way up until here, and then what you're going to want to do is actually place in your roof. Now I'm going to make a temporary roof so that you can actually do all the redstone easier. So something like this, just don't make it go up this side. What you're going to want to do on this side is actually place glass panes. So glass panes just like so, and then fill in the other sides. Now once you have done that, you can actually make a little roof. Now once you've done that, you're going to actually want to keep on going until you reach this spot. Now just keep on going with this and fill this whole row with glass panes. And then you can just fill in the other rows with your block until you get to right here. Now right here, what you're going to want to do is fill glass panes as well, and then you're going to want to build around it. Something just like that, where there's a little hole right here. So your thing should look something like this from the outside, and from the inside it should be all glass panes along the right wall. Now what you're going to want to do is actually add a fence gate or a sign or something that blocks water right over here. Now I chose a fence gate, and if you're choosing a fence gate, make sure to open it. You have to make it something that you can actually walk through. And then what you're going to want to do is actually place a water right over here, and you should be good. And this is a good time to test if you actually place all the glass panes in the right spot, which I did. And now you're going to actually want to replace this block with soul sand. Now once you've done that, use either water buckets or kelp to actually fill in the remaining spots to make it a bubble elevator. And test this out. Once you got that done, what you're going to want to do is go over here, place some scaffolding blocks just like so. Once you've done that, place a piston like that, facing upwards, a sticky piston, and a glass block. One more thing that I almost forgot is you actually need to change this. So first, just fit this in with blocks, and try not to make it spill anywhere else. But now that you've done that, you just add the gates, just like this, and you're good. Remember to open the gates as well. These can also be signs or anything else, but I think gates just look better. Now once you've done that, we can actually start getting into all the redstone. So I split these up into two sides. The orange side with a 4, and the green side with 3. Now the green side will actually connect these ones pushing inwards, and this one also pushing inwards, along with these two. These ones pushing inwards, and this one pushing inwards. So let's start connecting them. What we're going to want to do is actually just start pushing these. Now note that this is more not of a block by block step tutorial, but more of a general direction tutorial. But you can also use this as a block by block tutorial if you would like to. But I'm actually doing this without actually looking at anything, just because this design is pretty easy and this does not need to be any specific way. Now connecting these two pieces, I'm going to go along this edge just like so. And what I'm going to try to do is actually not try to go for this one first. Now I'm gonna actually do this using glass panes just like so. I'm gonna make a little tower right over here just like so. As you can see, I made a little tower going up to this block, and what you do is basically fill this in with redstone. And a pretty quick way to actually make a little redstone tower. Now what you want to do is actually connect up this piston just like that. Now once you've done that, we have to connect the other side, which is over here. And I actually forgot to connect a piston to it. Now what you want to do is actually just connect this side just like so. Now you're just going to want to go this way and make it more of a straight line because that is better. And then you can just simply connect it up. Now obviously you might need a repeater for this, so it is fine to actually use a repeater there. Now you're actually going to want to connect another line going up to this main piston. Now you're going to want to do another one of these glass towers, just like so. So just do one of those and you should be good. Just fill them up just like that, and there. That should be working. Now you can test it out using your lever, just like so. And as you can see, it is all pushing. This side, this one, and this one. So if it all works, you actually have done half of it, which is really good. So now let's get on to the other half, which is the orange line. Now the orange line connects this, and then over here you're going to connect this one and this one. So what you're going to want to do for that one is actually go with the orange line around here. And then what you're going to want to do is actually go upwards from here. Now once you have done that, you can actually connect up these pistons right over here. Just fill in all the redstone. You're probably going to want to add a repeater somewhere in here. And I'm just going to add one just like that. You're going to actually place 2 blocks right over here. Place 2 pieces of redstone. One over here and one connecting these. What you're going to want to do is push the repeater back over here. And then what you're going to want to do over here is actually connect up the other lines. So build up just like so. Then what you're gonna want to do is build down a little. So build like that. And now once you moved over here, you're gonna want to keep on moving all the way up to this. You can see you connect this, and now you should be good. Fill it up with a redstone. And now what you're gonna want to actually do is add another line right over here. And this one will be connecting to this. Just go upwards just like so, and once you have done that, you can actually make another glass tower and put a repeater probably about there. Add a repeater over here too. Now once you have done that, you can push this on again and everything should be working. As you can see, everything is pushing nicely. So once you have actually done all that debugging, it should be working just fine. So now that you actually got that out of the way, now you can actually set up the button. Now to set up the button, you're just going to want to place a button anywhere you want and dig right below it. Now the button will actually be the blue line. Now the button one is actually really simple compared to all the others, and it just powers this piston right over here. But if you're changing the line drastically, or in which you have to use more redstone, then I would recommend that you actually test out the machine again before moving on. Now what I'm doing here is actually just gonna go down a lot and fit the pulse extender underneath and then put all the redstone on top. So what I'm doing over here is actually going underneath and then using the other side because the other side has a lot more space. So as you can see, this line I can actually move up to better fit my needs, and it wouldn't require wasting more redstone. As you can see, that was very simple and an easy change to make. Also, this line should actually be changed because it kind of affects this part. So what you can actually do instead is actually go underneath with this line. So what I'm going to do with this one is actually move it down over here and push it over here. And along with that, I'm going to move this repeater back here. Once again, with any changes to the redstone lines, I would recommend you test out your machine to make sure it's working properly. Now that I built the line under here, I'm gonna start making the pulse extender. Now to make a pulse extender, all you're gonna need is repeaters. Now depending on how long you actually want your pulse to be, is how many repeaters you're gonna use. So I'm just gonna use 6 repeaters, just like so. 3 going this way, and then 3 going the other way, just like that. And then connecting the redstone up. Now what I want to do is add a little line over here connecting the redstone, and this should be good. Now we connect up the rest of the line, and now we test out the button. And if it doesn't go up, that means we need to actually add a repeater. So we add a repeater right over here, then we test it out once more, and it goes up for a long period of time. Now your game is actually done. Yes, it was that simple of redstone. So now we just add in the armor stand and we're good. Now to actually add the armor stand, I put it at a direction just like this so that you can actually see the character and it looks like he's running this way. And what you actually want to do is actually push him onto the side so that he actually gets carried by the magma block if he loses. So what you do is you actually push him just like so. Now he should be mostly on this, but a little bit on this. And now for the final touch of your game is the actual seat. Now for this special design, you want it 4 blocks away from the TV. So 4, and then we clear out this extra space for the seat. So we just make a 3 wide seat, just like so. Break the middle, place a minecart rail, a minecart, break the rail, place the seat, and a piston to push it down. Now we push it, and there, you got your seat. Now make sure you actually have a block behind the seat just to make sure that the minecart does not fall out. Now once you sit down, you can actually start playing your game. So you just hit the start button and you can just start playing. Now obviously you can actually add all the sidewalls, the floors, and that type of thing, or just add like a black all around it. And if you actually set this to 1 on the green line and 2 on the orange, you can actually make this go a lot faster. As you can see, the game is going a lot faster than normal, which is really cool because then you can customize your settings. But that is the end of this video. I really hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, please remember to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. If I helped you actually build this in your world, comment it down below. Thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate your guys' support, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace out.